I promised you to quantify this trade-off, and here it is. Here we are comparing a binary multiplier with a unary multiplier. Unary is what I showed you before. That's U SFQ. And here we have bits on the x-axis, so basically the bit width of the operands. And in this case, the y-axis is latency, because you see the label here. Now, as the binary multiplier has operands that have more bits, it does become a little slower because the critical path, prolongs, so the frequency drops. But and I didn't say the y-axis is logarithmic, so pay attention to that. So the binary multiplier does become slower, but some. It's not a dramatic effect. The unary multiplier becomes a lot slower because, as I said earlier, if I increase my numerical range, now I have to wait longer. So in other words, an epoch, if I compare an epoch for a numerical range of 0 to 3 versus 0 to 8, 0 to 8 is twice as long. So the whole circuit, because we have to wait for every epoch to end, now runs twice as slow. So it's this trade-off that we're quantifying here. But if we are to take 8 bits as an example, which is a good representative bit width for a multiplier, it also points to the example that I showed you earlier from ISSCC. So in this case, the unary multiplier is 6 times slower. Okay, so it's slower, great. But now if we compare the area, because we can multiply in unary in USFP with 50 JJs, regardless of bit width, the binary multiplier compared to that is huge. So the binary multiplier, or rather, like to match this, the unary multiplier is 370 times smaller than the binary multiplier. And it's, of course, 6 times slower. So it sort of delays a temporal value, a temporal pulse in race logic by 1 epoch. And that's an interesting one.